Hello guys and welcome back, all 2,700 members of the channel. It's been a minute since I've said that one. Okay, so today we're going to be ranking all the drivers by aura. This is like a driver steps into the room, what effect does it have on the people going there when the driver comes out in terms of, for let's just say, fan appearances and stuff like that. Like, how crazy does everyone go? And a little bit more so outside of F1 as well. Like, when this driver's walking down the street, are people like, oh my goodness, that's so and so, or do they just not even care? Like, they genuinely don't care. Even if they know who you are, they just don't care. As a benchmark, little voice break. As a benchmark to start off with, we are going to establish what it means to be at the top. So this is like fainting. Then you have crowd goes crazy, they're screaming. Then you have some people want pictures and some people are screaming your name, but it's like few and far between. And it's like, okay, not really anyone, no one's really screaming your name, but like maybe there's a few pictures being taken, or some people ask for some pictures. Then it's like basically nobody is asking for pictures, but some people do in fact recognize you and they know who you are. Maybe they might go up to you and say, oh, hi, I like what you do, or you had a good race on the weekend. And then there's, okay, you drive fast cars, but for all intents and purposes, you're a regular guy. You have no clout from F1. You really did, scrape the bottom of the barrel on this front. As a benchmark, we're going to have the one, the only, King Latifi. Now, you might say he's around here. Personally, there's only one place for my goat, and that is right up here in fainting. Latifi goes into a room of people that, I mean, how do you even respond to that? They must not even allow Latifi to go into rooms with women because they magically just start fainting. Oh my goodness, it's King Latifi. Even guys too. Like this guy gets everyone's jaw on the floor. He is, in fact, the king. But starting off with the man that I'm pretty sure replaced him, we have Logan Sargent. Now, this might be controversial. This is a regular guy. I'm sorry. As soon as Logan Sargent leaves F1, like, I don't see anyone remembering this guy. His clout, his brand name hasn't been helped by being in the sport. Yeah, he is, in fact, a regular guy. Like, there is no change. So I think he's firmly there. Next, you have Sergio. Okay, Sergio isn't like clouted up, right? But at the same time, he has enough clout to where Red Bull want to keep him, or at least he has enough dirt on Christian Horner. So part of me kind of wants to put him pretty high. I'll say this: if we're talking about like the Mexican Grand Prix, over here, but any other Grand Prix, like the European Grand Prix, maybe some pictures and some screams. Okay, so we're gonna put him there. Because although I think that without the Mexican Grand Prix and such, he's over here. But the Mexican Grand Prix brings him up a stage. Max Verstappen. Again. Okay, this is gonna sound weird, but technically Max is less clouted than Sergio. Sergio's got the whole American thing going on, like the Americas, and that helps him a lot. Max has got clout, but he's not worldwide famous. As in when Sebastian Vettel was a 4-time world champion, he was everywhere. Max isn't quite everywhere. I think that's because he's not really the most public person about everything. He really is just a regular guy that is just crazy quick driving a car. So, am I really going to make the argument Sergio has more clout than Max? That is kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy. You know what? I'm going to have to put him here simply because he is like an multiple F1 world champion. And like if he goes anywhere, he's going to be like, okay, this is Max Verstappen. That's kind of crazy. Next, we have Lewis Hamilton. Okay, we're going to make this quick. We all know he's over here. Yeah, let's not even play with this one. Do you know what it is? Lewis is one of those few drivers that could retire and be just as famous as he is whilst he's racing. In fact, I'm going to go on a limb and say most people who know Lewis Hamilton don't even know he's an F1 driver. I'm not saying he's more of a celebrity, but he's definitely a celebrity. Like let's keep it a buck. He's a celebrity and an F1 driver, but he is definitely a celebrity. So I'd say that. Before I was into F1, I knew who Lewis Hamilton was. He's in that bracket, probably because he's like one of the... No, to be fair, this was before he had all the championships. So I don't think he was even a double world champion at the time. But I knew Lewis Hamilton because he was just so famous. Being British and the British media promoting you helps. Pierre Gasly. No way he's more famous than Checo. There's no argument for that. But at the same time, when Pierre Gasly steps into a room full of people, some pictures, some screams, and plus the ladies do love Pierre Gasly. The ladies do love him. He is like the F1 fangirl. Him, Charles, and Lando, I think, are like the trio for the F1 fangirl parade. So he definitely gets some points for that. I say because of the F1 fangirl screaming, I'm gonna put him behind Checo. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Okay, Albon. I'm gonna be straight with you. Maybe a few pictures. I just don't. Albon isn't like, in terms of just general, no homo, but like good looking and stuff like that. Pause. He isn't quite Gasly, right? But he doesn't have. He's not like Checo either, where he has the whole of, I don't know, Thailand, or we don't race in Thailand, but we just don't. He doesn't have that star aura appeal. But at the same time, Albon is dangerous quick. Like he's so quick. And amongst the F1 community, he does have like a lot of respect. So people are gonna want to take pictures with him. Like when he walks into a room, people are definitely taking note of him. But if we're talking aura and maybe bleeding off into like a regular celebrity status, he just isn't quite cutting it. Daniel Ricciardo. On the one hand, his aura has dropped after getting destroyed by basically every teammate for the past 4 years. So his aura has dropped a little bit. But then again, Daniel Ricciardo is Daniel Ricciardo. Like, he is the OG of the funny guy. Before Daniel Ricciardo, there was no such thing as a personality in F1. Like, there was actually. You had the James Hunts and stuff like that. But just general comedic personality and being lighthearted in some situations, Daniel Ricciardo was the first one to really bring that to F1. So, man. Do you know, I'm going to put him... He's definitely above Gasly because he has that star appeal. Even for RB, he is making those sales go crazy. Is he bigger than Checo? Yes. Yes, he is, actually. Can I put him ahead of Checo? Okay. I would say he's bigger than Checo. Crowd goes crazy. If Daniel was driving for Red Bull, I think he would be next to Max. But because he's driving for RB, I think that limits some of his aura, you know? Like, if you're in a top team and you've got, like, the celebrity status, it helps quite a bit. Charles. Fainting. Between the fact that he's the Ferrari prodigal son, you know, he's good looking, pause. He really does have all the makings of a celebrity. The only thing stopping him is that he isn't British. If Charles was British, he would, wow, the media would push him way more and he would be a superstar. But amongst the Italians, you know, the Ferrari fans, and just the general F1 community, the fangirl community, is he really like a big one in the diehard community? For the Ferrari fans, sure. But, you know, he's the last one to really challenge Max for a title, obviously discounting this year with Norris. So he's been up there at the top of the grid. Yeah, I'd say he's up there. He's right up there. Oscar Piastri. Okay, so Oscar Piastri is really liked. Like, people like him a lot. But at the same time, does he have that aura? No, to be fair, though, Oscar is one of those, like, quiet types that you kind of don't know what he's thinking. So, I don't know, but in terms of, like, just sheer popularity and aura and people going crazy, because he's such a reserved person, I don't know whether he's going to have that star power. But at the same time, him being in McLaren and his performances this year, has got him a bit more airtime than maybe like a Gasly. So I'm going to put him like there. Some pictures and some screams, you know. Hulkenberg. Okay, I'm going to be real with you. Say what you want. It's not looking good, bruv. Actually, it's there. Hear me out here. Hulkenberg is great, but because he's never been at like the sharp end of the grid, he's never really got that media airtime that can push his aura up. If he was at the sharp end of the grid, getting podiums, the elusive podium, and wins and such, Hulkenberg could do it. His aura would be like here. But because he's never been at the sharp end of the grid, I just feel like it's taken so long. Like, Hulkenberg has been in the sport for so long, and it's taken so long for everyone to start seeing like him as a person. Even when he took a year out and he was coming in as like a substitute driver, like some people really just didn't care. Obviously some people did. They were so happy Hulk was back, but you know, he has some mixed opinions, and I guess rightly so. He's been in some controversy in the past, and I just don't see Hulkenberg going into a room, especially after he retires, and people going, "Oh snap, that's Nico Hulkenberg." But at the same time, I'm sure there is like a decent amount of people that sees him and wants to take a picture. Okay. This is a Checo situation, but without the Red Bull assistance. Do you know what? Let's be honest here. I'm only putting him here because this man he's been given so much aura by force. Even in the Chinese Grand Prix, right? They gave him a special place to park after the race. And to be fair to him, I think he actually might have... he didn't get no points that race. He came like 11th. So it was like a really good place to come for him that race. But I don't know. Maybe it's because F1 is trying to get all mushy with China. But but it just seems like his aura is being forced because F1 wants to break into the Chinese market. Everyone wants a little bit of the Chinese, if you know what I'm saying. That sounds kind of racist. But that has given Guan Yu Zhou some real star power. I'm not sure if he's going to stay in F1 for very much longer, for any much longer. But for now, at least, he's got some star power behind him, the kid. You know? And whether that star power is deserved, actually, let's move it here. Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. Yuki Tsunoda. Okay, this is interesting because he's got something similar to Zhou, except two things. He's at the front of he's further up the grid than Zhou, right? He's further up the grid than Zhou. And he has a better personality than Zhou in terms of being more presentable and more rememberable or memorable. In terms of aura, he's been a bit of a baby in the past, but obviously this year I think he's I don't say he's turned it around, but he's gone clear. Like, he really has taken leaps and bounds in this year. Like, I don't know who gave him the pep talk, but it changed. Something's changed. Performances have been great. And in Japan, this man he's been doing a great thing there. Everyone there loves him. He scored points when we went there this year. But at the same time, China is a lot bigger than Japan. It really has come to this. And at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm going to put him here. Does Yuki Tsunoda, Alex Albon's driving ability should warrant him to be higher. But because of the fact he isn't British, because of the fact he's not European, because of the fact that we don't race in any country that he's from, really and truly, or very close to the region he's from, it limits his popularity quite a bit. So on to the next one, we have the man, the myth, the teammate killer, Esteban Ocon. Listen, say what you want about Esteban Ocon. Fiery teammate. I think Esteban Ocon's going to go down in history in F1. Like, you know how people remember Pastor Maldonado? Not like champions, like not like a multiple time world champion like a Vettel. or like a Prost, but they'll remember like a they'll remember like what's it called? Oh, the name is escaping me. Juan Pablo Montoya, yeah, a Kobayashi. These people aren't, world champions, but they had something about them that established them in F1 memory amongst the fans. And I think Esteban Ocon being a teammate killer is he's gonna do that. As far as aura goes, some people recognize you. Fight me on it. When Esteban Ocon retires, if I tell you Kobayashi, some people don't even know what I'm talking about. They don't know what I'm talking about. And it's going to be the same thing with Esteban Ocon, even amongst Formula One fans. Some people just aren't going to remember when he is gone. Next. Okay, next. Lando Norris. Okay, Lando Norris, right? Lando Norris is definitely above Piastri. Like, he just has to be. He's been in the game longer. He's got more star power. He is ahead in the championship. And right now, say what you want about potential, but right now he is in fact faster than him. So he has the popularity, and he's British. So his popularity is definitely there. I would say though, actually no. He's yeah, between the fact, because he's got similar Charles Fangirl, that little trib between him and Gasly and Charles for fangirls. But he's actually popular and he's fighting for the championship right now. I know he's been acting like a little bit of a baby as well for a little bit of this championship battle, and he's been bottling it a bit. But in terms of just aura, man, this Lando Norris, this is his peak aura so far in his career. Like, this year has risen Lando Norris's aura from not like boy to man, but racer to potential champion. So it's definitely helped him. Carlos Sainz. Now, okay. So Carlos Sainz, he does everything right. Wins races, challenges at the top. He does it all right. But I can't, in my right state of mind, give Carlos Sainz a high aura when everyone is doing the equivalent of stealing his woman. Daniel Ricciardo stole his seat. He left Toro Rosso. Daniel Ricciardo stole his seat in Renault, then stole his seat again in McLaren, and then his seat got stolen a third time by Lewis Hamilton. So his aura can't be that much in terms of the standings. And commercially, yeah, he's good, but clearly people like Daniel, clearly people like Lewis tower above him in certain aspects. Pace-wise and just driving ability, he does command a lot of respect. More than some of the people here, like Joe. But at the same time, if we are going based off of aura, I'm going to put him there. Above Zhou, because there's no way you can tell me Zhou has more aura than Carlos. But at the same time, Carlos is, I think it's just the career choices. Sometimes the career just doesn't fall for you in F1, and it has hampered his ability to create that aura. Imagine if Carlos, didn't get slapped up in the driver market by Lewis Hamilton and managed to have a long, successful Ferrari career, which I think would have been possible because of his very solid and admirable performances. And you never know, maybe one day he could actually come in for a championship. I'm going to put this real nice. George Russell at one point was here for aura. Touted to get to the Mercedes seat, right? He was putting in work in that Williams. But ever since he's been in that Mercedes seat, every time he gets in the car, he just does something to lower his aura. Crikey, mate. Why is he defending so hard? He just turns in on me. It's just a bit like, dang, George, you shouldn't be doing this. We're forecast to podium today. Oh my goodness, please stop. And so obviously he's a British, white, 6'2" driver. And that drives for Mercedes against the statistical GOAT and has been beating him head to head this year. And so you get some points for that. But I don't think he is. He could have been here. He could have been here. But George's mishandling is taking him here. And I think part of the reason is because in terms of British drivers, we have options. Like, we don't need... I say we, as like... But there's no need for George in terms of the British public, because they have someone like Lando Norris, if you know what I'm saying. They have Lewis Hamilton still. So it's the British public aren't immediately clinging to the only British driver they have, because they have one fighting for a championship. They have one of their legends still racing that is going to be a Ferrari driver next year. And so, yeah, maybe it will change when George is in full control of that Mercedes team. But to be fair, actually, let me move him down as well. Because although he didn't get kicked out like Carlos did, listen, I haven't really said anything on it. But all this talk that Toto Wolff was trying to get Max Verstappen into the team, George must be looking like, well, don't you already have a number one driver in me? Other teams can get away with having, you know, not like a bad second driver, but it's just a decent second driver. But Mercedes are still looking almost as if they're trying to fish for a first driver. George must be offended. And it just makes it look like the Mercedes aren't looking, or they haven't been sounding like they're looking for someone to support their number one driver, their prodigy, George, who waited 3 years to get into the team. They sound like they're waiting for someone to come in and actually lead the team. Like a prodigy in Kimi Antonelli, who will come in and be a phenom like Max Verstappen. Let's be honest. If Toto wants Kimi Antonelli to come in, he wants him to become Max Verstappen and lead the team in the future. That's the only reason, because he doesn't want to miss out on Max Verstappen like he did before. And in terms of Max Verstappen, he wants Max Verstappen in a team. And you bet if Max Verstappen comes to Mercedes, Toto Wolff is going to be in his drawers. There is no way George is respected as the outright number one driver in that team with Max Verstappen there. And with Kimi, it's only a matter of time before he becomes off pace. Similar to the 1-2 situation in McLaren, except in McLaren, Piastri was a lot more cooked than, you know, Antonelli will be if he comes into Formula 1. Next, Valtteri Bottas. Ooh. I'm going to put him there. Valtteri Bottas is like, he's one of the great guys, and he does so much marketing. Everyone knows and loves Valtteri. I just wonder if, because obviously he's in a Sauber, because of some of the things in the past, aura-wise, he's lost a little bit. I've heard some people lose some respect for Valtteri's driving skills this year, being in that Sauber, even though that Sauber is dog. It's so bad. The team, everything, top to bottom in that team is horrendous. But I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see Valtteri walking into a room and people go crazy. Actually, no, I do see some people screams. I do see some screams. But at the same time, it's like maybe a few pictures. But Valtteri, he strikes me as a more normal than anything guy. Like, he's more normal than he is famous. And that helps him because he's more funny, people like him more. But if we're talking like pure aura, although someone like Lewis is a lot less relatable, let's be honest, Lewis walks into a room, people go freaking nuts. They go absolutely ballistic. So I really want to put him in some pictures and screens, but I'm just not sure. I'm really not sure. I'm going to leave him there because at least he's a top of maybe a few pictures. We're going to go K-Mag next. K-Mag. Listen. Hear me out. I'm going to say this and you can fight me on it. You can cry about it. I don't care. When K-Mag retires in 5 years, he's going to be a regular guy, bro. The same way that when Grosjean left or when Grosjean fully retires from motorsport, he's going to be a regular guy. Without the incident in 2020, Grosjean absolutely would have retired a regular guy. No chance about it. The incident gave Grosjean some aura, escaping from the fire. K-Mag has no such thing. This man peaked on his first race. In Formula One. And yeah, you cannot convince me after K-Mag retires, he's going to keep that level of aura. In fact, he's getting kicked out this year more likely than not, which is something I'm not really a fan of, but yeah. So you can't convince me. You're basically regular at this point. Fernando Alonso is not here. He's not at the top. People are not fainting seeing Fernando Alonso. F1 fans love Fernando Alonso. He isn't there. He's barely here. He's barely there. Fernando Alonso is a different generation. He's a different generation, bro. This type of love that Fernando Alonso has is not from the new F1 fans. A lot of the new F1 fans, they know him a little bit from the memes and such, but actual love for Fernando Alonso and his driving is from a different generation. I'm going to put him here. I'm going to put Fernando Alonso there in terms of aura. Driving ability, fine, we can talk here. Actually, okay, no. Aura is there. Actually, man, he's Fernando Alonso, but at the same time, the fans today don't really know. People generally today don't. It's a different generation, so maybe it's someone who was a little bit older. Actually, no, let's put him here, because Fernando Alonso will always garner a formidable amount of respect wherever he goes. It just depends, because truth be told, Fernando Alonso might actually get more respect outside of F1 than he might inside of F1, because F1 these days, you know, the mass audience is Drive to Survive fans, which, you know, no shade if you are, but it just generally means you're a newer fan. You probably wasn't there to see some of the things that make Fernando Alonso so respected, which is more than just his championships. You know, that why people like him. It's so many different reasons, but you might not have been there to see like the most of it. So I would say Fernando Alonso is he's about here. He's hanging on, you know, he's hanging on to the back. But this is the completed driver rankings. You thought I was going to put Lance Stroll at the top. You thought I was going to put Lance Stroll at the top. Do you know what? Lance Stroll, hated or whatever. Aura? Nah, this guy's hated, bro. Isn't it? I don't swear. This guy is hated, bro. He will go down in legend, but not for the right reasons. But yeah, this is the absolute finished driver aura tier list. Who has the most aura in F1? Well, it's Latifi, but considering he's not on F1 right now, it's Lewis. Who has the least amount of aura? It's Logan Sargent. Who is slap bang in the middle? Probably like George or Carlos or Piastri. Yeah, that's probably like the medium or the middle. The median? Yeah, the median or the middle. But yeah, that is it. See you guys next time.